Rick.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all. Here we go. Let's do it. It's showtime.
There you go. Boy, you come to life on that time, don't you?
Hey, boys. It is, wait, man. It's a great time to be alive, coach. It's a great time to be alive. What's happening to my INSiiGHTS family? Hola to mi familia and all the others over there in Mexico and Puerto Rico, everywhere. INSiiGHTS TV. Hola, hello.
Oh,
Uh,
that's it. Go with it, Rick.
what's up?
Go with it.
What's up, coach?
Man, I'm glad to be right here with you, Rick. That is the day. That is it. Hey, you got one person always holler back.
Hey, Sports Diva, what's happening?
Sports Diva on it, boy.
All the
Dr. Miller
time.
been AOL for a minute. She said she was getting ready to get back, so we looking forward to her getting back. Man, we really had a good time doing the broadcast of the celebrity game with Tabernacle Missionary Baptist. Oh, you know, a celebrity basketball game is so different from doing like a regular high school game or collegiate game. And I had to get my camera person kind of in tune that, look, don't set it on one spot, do a wide shot. No, we need to get more action from the people on the sidelines, the people carrying on. Diane Cox was hilarious. She had her pink and green pom-poms and had her pearls on. And they said, I thought she could play. Somebody said, she too old to play. And they called her celebrity cheerleader. Boy, she was just as personable and interactive with the community and the fans. You know, she was all in. She was all in. Chelsea Johnson had the microphone. She was emceeing the contest. When the celebrity teams started making a run, it was actually Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church team against the celebrity team, and the church team was winning. And so Chelsea had a mask on and everything. She took her mask off, substituted herself in the game, not with her church team, but with the celebrity team. Stood over in the corner, hit a deep three, and took her mask off and went back to being an announcer. She said she had to show her brother because her brother Brad was talking junk and she had to shut him up. I said, Brad, I'm the announcer. I said, Brad, I bet you're not going to guard your sister. He said, Coach, I don't want none of that. I don't want that.
I don't want that smoke, Coach. I don't want that smoke.
But the celebrity team stepped it up, and they ended in the end. They finally got Diane Cox in, and they got Lenitra Bennett in, and they kept trying to get them a lot of shots, trying to get Timmy in to hit a shot. But it was really, really nice. And one of the things about the church, at the end, they recognized all the players, you know, who came out and attended, and then they had INSiiGHTS come out and recognized me, and I got really, really a nice, warm round of applause from the church. I said, they made me feel so good. They're about to make me change my church membership and go to their church.
Uh-oh.
I said, wow. I said, it was nice to feel that love and appreciation for doing a community event. You know, it really was. You know, but this show today is about the NFL draft and all the stuff that's going on. But in staying with the things that we are now trying to implement, you know, because we get so many things actually sent and forwarded to us. You know, it was really kind of interesting to see one of them that was forwarded to me.
So I was saying, I saw this guy wear this in the steam room, and I noticed it's dark. So what did you ask for it? And I did. We were talking. I said, "Man, that's a nice bracelet." And I said, "I've never seen it before." And I asked him. I didn't ask him for it. So we get out of the room. We get dressed. He comes over. He said, "Man, you can have the bracelet." I said, I had to question, what towels on or off? And towels were on. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Towels were on. Okay, man. Hey. Y'all get out. He got me up. He's like, ask him about the bracelet. Wait, so I didn't know the story. Yeah. Oh, my God. Towels were on, Chuck. Towels were on. But he was a real nice guy. Obviously. He was real nice. Oh, yeah. In the steam room. And I guess a steam or a sauna? This is sand. It was sauna. Okay. No, it was a steam room, actually. I just seen it in the steam room. And Bulldogs, the steam room and Bulldogs. This is like sand from the Black Sea. Yeah. And this is... you know what? Nobody's listening. Out his name. Nobody cares. America's Greatest Makers. That's a great bracelet, man. Hey, man, y'all can't make me feel bad. We had our towels on. Y'all haters, dude. I'm not saying anything wrong. I just tried. You ever see yourself admitting, yeah, the guy in the steam room gave me
he's pure gold.
I don't see that. You don't tell nobody else that story, Chuck.
I love it. I love it, fans. I love y'all. Keep sending this stuff.
Man. You way man. Never your name. Hey, look, you know his name. I don't know his name. And then he gave you a bracelet in the steam room, and he was rubbing oil on your back. You don't even know his name. Oh, man. Guys rubbing oil on your back. He wasn't rubbing oil on your bracelet.
They take it too far.
Thank you for my bracelet.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at Shaq.
And Shaq is just a nut.
Get out of here, man. Go to commercial. He lost a cup of water out
Look at Shaq.
Look at this. You got me crying, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, man. Hey, can I get your bracelet, please? Oh, can I have your bracelet? Oh, nice bracelet, big guy.
Nice bracelet, big guy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
You're hilarious, Chuck.
They could do a best of Chuck segment because he always brings, he's gold. He's golden. He is amazing.
Oh, isn't that hilarious? I was like, no. I said, I love my fans and family. Boy, they always send us something. That is absolutely hilarious. Oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing at that. You got anything from the Did You Know file?
I might have one or two, Coach. I might have one or two. Let's stay with the NBA because there's this guy named the Big Dipper, and I'm sure you know the Big Dipper, Wilt Chamberlain. Okay. Everyone knows him. Okay. But did you know, Coach, he never fouled out of an NBA game?
See, I did know that. I had heard that. Well, he never had to get close to anybody to try to block their shot, but never.
You would think. I mean, never. Wow. Jordan can't even say that. I mean, heck, that's something else. That's something else. But all right, I got one for. I got another one for you there.
No, before you get to it, where do you rank Wilt Chamberlain in terms of the greatest to ever play the game?
Top 5.
Okay. Top 5. How about top 3? Making you think about it a little bit, see?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay.
3 to 4 is close.
Okay. 3 to 4 is close?
I would think so. For my top 5, yes.
Okay. Okay. We'll hold the top 3. We'll hold it later to get that top 5 from you. But go ahead. What else you got?
Have you ever heard of the Steagles?
I have not.
All right. Because these teams, because the Philadelphia Steelers and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles lost so many players to World War II military service, they combined to become the Steagles during the 1943 NFL season. Unfortunately, they only went 5-4-1, and they didn't make the playoffs. But there was one time the Philadelphia community, the Pittsburgh community came together for once, showing brotherly love.
No, that's a significant comment and statement that you made right there. That's pretty deep, Rick. You came with serious. I came with silliness, but you came with serious, and I like what you brought to it. That's pretty deep. And you know that Philadelphia and Pittsburgh don't get along for anything.
I know.
Why?
I know, but that's understandable though. Who can get along with Philadelphia? Oh, sorry about Philly fans. Sorry about Philly people. I love you, Rocky.
Oh my goodness.
Jokes.
Well,
Jokes
or jokes? Because if you're saying chokes, I'm thinking about my Cleveland Chocoliers.
Ooh, what is going on there?
I didn't like the matchup to begin with. See, Thibodeau is a defensive specialist. And the Cavaliers had a tendency all season of trying to turn it on in the fourth quarter. They had more comeback victories than anybody else in the NBA. And they would look like crap for 3 quarters, turn it on, and pull out a win at the end. They did that all year long. And you can tell body language in them real quick. I mean, even their bigs don't run the floor hard. They jog the floor. Whenever you see them play again, if they play again this season, they do play tonight, they don't run the floor. They jog the floor. And they were being flat out run down the floor, and Hartenstein was a guy who was on the Cavaliers, and they cut it. So, I'm not surprised because I remember Thibodeau as an assistant coach. He was the one who had manned the defense, so I knew he was going to make adjustments. And regardless of what people say, experience is key in the NBA. Who was coach of the year? Mike Brown. Got his start with Cleveland. Tyronn Lue, started with us. I mean, some of the better coaches have to have had some trials and tribulations before they can put that thing together. And I'm just saying, BJ just is some things that they don't give me enough of. They may win tonight, but when they were nervous on our own home court in game 1, I knew we didn't stand a snowball's chance in an inferno to win in New York if we were nervous at home in front of our own fans. That's just common sense tells you that. Just common sense tells you that. But I like the did you knows that you have. But I got something that we actually have right here from a guy.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Mickey Clayton with Inside Sports.
Okay. Isaiah Land, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we know the legend. We know how you doing. Well, man, we just wanted to ask you a little bit how you feel about this last season coming up.
Well, I try to I don't really, when I go into every game to try to chill my nerves, I try to not pay attention to all the outside hype. So for me, I'm just going into the season as if it's another season. I'm going to just do my 1/11th every play and play as hard as I can. I'm not going to try to live to nobody's expectations when it comes to sacks and stats and stuff like that. I'm going to just play good football and hope it all play out well in the end.
Okay, how does it make you feel to be noticed as one of the players they want to invite to the Shrine Bowl at the end of the season. They got their eyes on you.
It feels amazing. Since high school, when I was a freshman at FAMU, I used to see the scouts come, and they used to be lined up around the practice field talking to my teammates, and they'd never look my way. So it feels good that they finally looking my way, because I used to tell myself one day they're going to be coming to practice asking for me. So, like, it feels great.
Well, man, from FAMU fans everywhere, we wish you a lot of success and the team a lot of success.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
From FAMU SWAC, from the SWAC media day. And Isaiah was just an unassuming kind of guy. You had to pull for him, He's just an unassuming kind of guy, that you respected and wanted him to do well. And right now, he's considered the #1 prospect from HBCU to get drafted in this upcoming draft.
Oh, wow.
So he's projected to be the #1 guy to go in the draft. So, we're wishing him good luck and wishing him well. What do you have other than some of the guys down there, Rick?
I'm glad you asked. Well, before we get there, Coach, what about Xavier? What about the receiver, Xavier Smith?
I got him coming up.
Okay.
I got him coming up. I'm gonna do a segment on the top HBCUs priority free agents.
Oh.
The top ones. And to answer your question, he was ranked maybe the 200th wide receiver coming out until he ran the 4.3 and he skyrocketed up the boards. In fact, Tampa had him down there for one of their visits.
Yeah.
So, when you run a 4.3, you get people's attention.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
they
indeed.
looked at him a lot differently once he got timed running that 4.3. They were like, "Oh, wait a minute, who is that guy?" So he may get a shot if for nothing else but on the special team. But that's where you have to go. You got to get your shot to get in there, and then you have to make it work from there.
Yes, sometimes that's where you start. Unless you're a big first, second round pick, mostly everyone else, and your quarterback, mostly everyone else gets their starts on special teams.
Well, let me ask you this, Rick. Do you think it's better if you go down and a lot of our guys are projected to get drafted to late round selections? Is it better to go in the late round to you or to go as a free agent?
See, Coach, it all depends, and it depends on the player. The benefits of being drafted is, even in the later rounds, even though it's limited, you have that security. This team obviously is they think something of you to give you that shot. And more than likely, if you're drafted, you're going to make it through into training camp. You're going to make it to training camp. So that's what you want to do. You get a 4-year deal if you get drafted, unlike a 3-year deal if you're undrafted. So, and the likelihood of you making at least a practice squad, although it's not guaranteed, because the people drafted you, they want, the scouts and all, they want to look good. So more than likely, you have a good shot at least the practice squad. So that's the benefits of being drafted even in the later rounds. However, if you go undrafted, all you need is one team to give you a shot. And you get to choose where you go if more teams like you. Sometimes the money is less, but the key is finding that team and that spot to make a roster. Because once you make a roster, even a practice squad roster is all good. And like I said earlier, it's 3 years for a free agent deal. So it depends on the player and the situation and where they are, Coach. I don't think there's any stand fast rule if you're in the 7th round. Oh, no, I think I'm going to wait until I'm a free agent. No, because you might not get picked.
Well, I think what you said, there's some valid points to it. I think a lot of time agents tell them if they're not getting drafted in the top 4, maybe 5, you're better as a free agent because they think you can then pick your team and try to go where you want it a little bit more, where there's a bigger need for you. Let's take Marquise Bell last year. When he fell out of the draft, what the Cowboys did was actually just short of brilliant. What they did was they recruited him. They brought him in for a visit, showed him that, training room. They showed him the facilities, got to know him, talked to him, and all of that, because they thought it was a large likelihood that he might slip down and not get drafted. But immediately when the draft ended, they were on the phone with him. And they say that he got an exceptionally high bonus to come to Dallas. Plus, they said he felt like they had shown interest in him all the time. I mean, it's just like sometimes smaller schools recruiting athletes. You always recruit upper athletes anyway, but you also recruit them, in fact, if things don't go well, that you can get them back and bounce back. Last thing you tell them is, things don't don't go like you want, give us a call. You always got a home with us. And that's kind of what Dallas did with him, I think. And that helped him. So I think that's going to happen in HBCU football. There's 3 or 4 guys that they're projecting might be late round picks. Another 10 to 12 that they're calling priority free agents, that they're going to be all over immediately, and maybe another 50 or 60 that have a chance to get signed, to fill those rosters. Plus, the FLPA went into an agreement where, remember how they would always cut people at a certain time, and they would have to get the rosters down? Now, now they don't have to make those cuts until the last cut. So, because so many injuries were happening and people were shorthanded, so guys would be in camp a little bit longer. So that's good in one hand, half dozen the other. If you get cut, then I think it's harder to get picked up by somebody else. Yeah. But what you're hoping is that you at least get a chance to play in some of those exhibition games and get something on tape where people can get a chance to see you play and take a chance on you from there.
And that's key, Coach. You got to put something on tape, because once it's out there, once it's on tape, that's you. Right. that's your resume right there, and teams look at it. I mean, there's 32 opportunities out there, so it's not a lot.
Rick, you got something on Anthony Richardson at all?
Yeah, a little bit, Coach. I mean, he will be the first state of Florida person drafted. For those who don't know, Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Gators this year. Tremendous upside. That's what everyone says. But he's considered a project. I mean, he has all the physical tools. They say he can run, he can throw. But his accuracy is a question. And the Gators didn't do that well this year. And the quarterback, all eyes are on the quarterback in major college football as well as the NFL. So if your team is doing bad, they look first at the quarterback. I mean, Richardson is fast. If you saw his combine numbers, they were off the charts. He's still considered a project, which made me wonder, is it because the first thing you say, oh, well, he's black, so yeah, he's a project. No, I saw a lot of their games. I saw a lot of Gator games, and trust. While he was the best quarterback the Gators had, he made a lot of mistakes too. So I can understand why they say that, which isn't a bad thing. You don't have to come in right away and start. Sit back a year or two, learn. You may have time to grow, to understand the game, the speed of the game. Then you can make your mark.
I agree with what you're saying. He's been a workout warrior. People saw him on tape, and and what did they say all the time? The old school coaches look like Tarzan, play like Jane. I mean, he looks the part. Mm-hmm. But then you think about Florida; they didn't do much. And when you saw him play, he was real erratic. And it's not black or white. It was just his play. And
inconsistent. Yep.
You know, people are saying he's another
Cam Newton.
Thank you, Cam Newton. Maybe a bit potential wise. I just don't. I think another year would have definitely helped him, unless there was an issue with him and the coach. And it could have been just based on how he played. I mean, talent-wise, I mean, he goes through the drills, throw the ball almost 100 yards, runs 4-4, just, you know. And I'm a believer that the game is changing, but the running quarterbacks don't last long. You know, I didn't believe that. I just thought it was an excuse, but I look at how Lamar has been hurt and broke up. You know, you have to be able to throw in that pocket, stand in that pocket and throw some. Which Jalen does a good job of, and doesn't take off running. And Lamar's an outstanding athlete. Now, no argument there, but I guess it's hard to put your job on the line for a guy like that. He's good enough to get you fired. You know, you make him early round selection, but I just wanted to see what your thought was on him. But go on and tell us what you got for us.
No, I do think he's going to be one of the top. I think he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, he is.
And where he goes, though, that's going to be something else. Okay, let's stay with the Gators. Another first round pick could be offensive guard Osiris Torres. He's a transfer from Louisiana this year, but this guy did not give up any quarterback hits or sacks last year. And from your guard position, that's what you want. Someone, a big guy, brawler, who will pop you. And Torrance has that. And he's going to make some team very happy. Hey, Washington, are you listening? Not that I care right now because you still have Daniel Snyder. Anyway, I digress. Same with the Gators. A third-day selections, 2 third-day selections, a few third-day selections perhaps, from my area, Lake Wales and Lakeland, Florida. Defensive tackle Gervon Dexter Sr. and linebacker Ventrell Miller from Kathleen High School. Those guys are projected to go 4 through 6 in rounds. Also with the Gators, third-day selection, perhaps linebacker, edge rusher Brenton Cox Jr. and safety Trey Dean III. With Cox, very high motor at linebacker, consistent tackler. He was just everywhere, and that gets you noticed. He'll have to probably start on special teams, but that gets you noticed if you have a high motor, definitely. Sticking with, let's go to Miami. Cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, transfer from Georgia. He's a good cover corner. Good size, coach. He can match up with the big receivers. Not the fastest, but has good technique. They're projecting him in the 2nd or 3rd round, 2nd-day selection. Miami also has a tight end, Will Mallory, who's projected to go to 3rd day, 4th through 6th round. And finally, for Florida International, someone to keep an eye on, a 3rd-day selection. Devontae Price. He ran a 4.38, coach. We were talking about those 4.3s. Right. That 4.38 got some attention, so he could go late 3rd day, 7th round, or perhaps he'll get one of those priority free agents. USF, FAU, and UCF will likely have players get undrafted, try to get in through the undrafted free agency route. And that's what I got from this way, Coach.
Well, let me tell you what I found out that really shouldn't have surprised me. But I probably saw 5 or 6 guys from Troy State. They kind of surprised me a little bit for potential free agents, but we did get something here as the
Isaiah Land, 6'3", 236, edge rusher / linebacker, Florida A&M University, is one of the top football players in HBCU in terms of how he's being evaluated and where he's projected to go in the NFL. Some are saying the 6th round. Most are saying that he's a developmental player, and it ranges from a role player to somebody who could be a significant player. He's listed as an outside edge rusher, also as a linebacker. Most seem to think his future is as a linebacker because of his size or lack thereof at 236, being able to play at that defensive end spot. Isaiah is a young man whose intangibles cannot or are not measured by the NFL scouts. He started Pop Warner football 10th grade. When he got to high school, he didn't play any sports 9th and 10th grade, as he gravitated more towards playing basketball. 11th grade, he was asked to come out for the football team. He went out and was on the JV team before moving up to varsity. He was a 0-star recruit. For those of you not familiar, it goes from 0 to 5, 5 being the blue chip. All the Power 5 schools are all over you. 0 recruit, 0-star, means they didn't think he had much of a future. He ended up going to Florida A&M University. Redshirted his first year, didn't play much his second, third year. COVID wiped out a season. Then he came in, became Buck Buchanan Player of the Year the following year with an explosive season. He was a star on the rise. Going into his senior year, everybody tried to recruit him. You know, often looking at HBCUs as community colleges, he was actively recruited and offered after he entered the portal. Georgia offered him, Texas offered him, and a host of other schools. He decided to stay loyal to Florida A&M University. As I say, he's a young man who has the intangibles. He doesn't quit. Football wasn't even his sport. He went out in the 11th grade. JV team ended up making the varsity, earning a scholarship. Redshirted, not playing much at Florida A&M, and then burst on the scene, Buchanan winner. The things that most scouts like about him are his athleticism, his speed, and his motor. He never says die. You always hear good things about him in terms of how he was prepared, how he uses his hands, his moves and counter moves. All of those come from coaching. So it wasn't a lack of coaching that has the people raising questions. The question is his size and weight. A lot of them think that he is a project, but they think that he is a low-risk, high-reward candidate. We look for Isaiah Land to be heavily considered in the 5th round, probably the 6th, but he does have a future in the NFL.
You said something very interesting when you was going through the things that he overcame. And that just tells you the kind of person he is, and scouts like that, teams like that, because no matter what, the adversity, he still goes. He still goes. And he could have quit. I mean, what you say, basketball was his first love. You know, he the hell with this. I'm going to hoop. You know? But no, he stuck with it. When he didn't play, he was redshirted his first year fam. He could have, bump this. I'm going in the transfer portal.
Rick, he stopped playing football. The coaches asked him to come out for it. He didn't go out for football again until 11th grade year. And they put him on the JV team. But once he went out there, he just kind of got after it. And
all in.
You know, and then you gotta remember now, he was not high on the radar in terms of being able to play as the edge rusher, which the edge rusher is a premium position in the NFL because of his size. He was so light in the butt. They think, and then when he went to was it the Shrine game or one of the All-Star games he went
Senior
to,
Bowl.
and they asked him to play linebacker. Had never played it. And all of a sudden they were like, he's never played it, but look at what he's doing. You know, he might be all right. Now he's listed as an outside linebacker. So people are saying, you know, that he has a chance to really do some things, and we're hopeful. But I got another guy here. The guy that they rated.
Aubrey Miller Jr. from Jackson State, 5'11", 229 from Memphis, Tennessee. One of the more interesting prospects from HBCU eligible for draft. An example of a young man that wasn't really getting a chance to play as much as he thought he should have at Missouri. Transferred to Jackson State and wreaked havoc. He was a 3-year star recruit coming out of high school. He's also ended up being a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Something to be said about a young man who, as an athlete, makes that dedication to pledge to service fraternity. He has an ability to play through injury. He described as a ball of energy by one NFL scout and made substantial strides with his maturity from his time in Missouri when he first arrived and from when he first arrived at Jackson State. Talking about his injury pain threshold, he suffered a cracked fibula in his leg as a true freshman, but only missed 3 games. He was a 3-year starter at Jackson State, and again, he wreaked havoc. He's playing the position that he would play at the next level, which is inside linebacker, one of 2 HBCU players selected to play in the Shrine Bowl. He did well when he was there. Overall, they seem to say he has the desired fluidity and length by NFL standards. They said, but he makes up for his shortcomings with physicality and play speed of a running hit defender. He projects as a sturdy and sawed-off rotational linebacker in the NFL with special teams value. He's projected to go 6th round. We expect and wish him good luck. We expect him to be drafted.
He was
all over.
Yeah, right. You notice him on film, don't you? Every time they play. You notice him. Mm-hmm. You know, they say when he gets there, he's gonna get there with mean intentions. With mean intentions. And that's another spot where people are looking for somebody in that middle to be able to deliver the blow. Now he's rumored that Pittsburgh Steelers have an interest in him. And they immediately went to how the Steelers have always recruited from the HBCUs, and that it would continue a long-standing tradition of having small school players that deliver big-time results for them. So that may be interesting right there. No. Got another one.
Aubrey Miller Jr. from Jackson State, 5'11", 229 from Memphis, Tennessee. One of the more, perhaps the 3rd HBCU player that they anticipate getting drafted from the University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Mark Evans. Projected to go in the 7th round, 6'4", 303 pounds. He's a young man that, again, was a no-star recruit, wasn't ranked by many of the online services. They say it was a number of reasons why he was behind, said he didn't start to play varsity until his junior year. He was more of a basketball player growing up. He gave football another chance in 7th grade and continued playing into high school. He was a young man who Hurricane Harvey disrupted his family. His home was destroyed by the flooding and his family was displaced, spending time at a convention center until they found a shelter. He was noticed by several junior colleges and committed to Navarro Junior College, which was a 3-hour drive north of Houston. However, Arkansas Pine Bluff offered him late after signing day, mind you. He committed and went to Arkansas Pine Bluff. His younger brother, Jesse, plays defensive end at Prairie View A&M. One of the things about him, with all the things that Mark Evans II went through, he graduated cum laude. Not thank you, Lottie. with a 3.8 with a degree in biology. He accepted an invitation to play in the East-West Shrine Bowl. He was a 5-year starter at Arkansas Pine Bluff, played lined up at left tackle in their up-tempo spread scheme. He only had one Division I offer out of high school, and he was thrown into the fire at left tackle as a true freshman. They say he looks to quickly close space on pass rushes, but he struggles to maintain versus counters. Overall, his technique and balance tend to deteriorate after first contact, but he works hard to stay square and keep his short defenders occupied. He is a draft and development guard with upside and will continue getting better with NFL coaching. We expect him. Late 6th round pick.
He got 3.8 in biology. Not in leisure services. He got 3.8 in biology. Hey, that gets my respect. That gets my respect. It really does.
Thank you, Lordy.
I know that's right. I know that's right. But they got some guys that they're expecting to go high as priority free agents. One of them, Shaq Davis, wide receiver from South Carolina State. You got another one, a guy you probably remember from Bethune-Cookman, that big tight end they had. Oh, I like him, Kamari Everett, 6'6". He was at Louisville, 6'6", 260. He was there for 2 years. And somebody's going to get him. They say he blocks. They say he wins he blocks. He wins across the middle. He wins on the perimeter. They kind of like this guy. You know.
I remember that catch too.
So you remember that, huh?
I do. You know, you cannot teach size. You know this in that other sport that we love.
Right.
And tight end, he had good quickness. He has good hands. I would like to see him get a shot because with the right team, I mean, he'll start off on special teams, but right team, he might be able to do something.
You got Jordan Lewis from Southern. He's at inside linebacker. You know, they kind of expect some pretty good things out of him too. They say the difference is he's already played linebacker, so it's not where he has to learn a brand new position. He comes with some knowledge of what he's doing at that linebacker position. Jordan Lewis.
Hey.
Another Jackson State kid.
Hey. I know Isaiah.
Another one, and spelled like that.
His father played in the NFL. Anquan Bolden, and he good friend of my family. Played
Anquan
youth football here.
Okay.
No. For the Falcons.
Oh, okay.
Cornerback.
Okay. And in their bio about it, and say he doesn't come squeaky clean, which I at least appreciate that they didn't go into a lot of detail about whatever it was. And Shaq Davis, man, he's 6'4", 216. Started off as what? A basketball player. So many of these guys started off playing basketball. Jadakiss Berry, wide receiver from Hampton. They like his size and speed as well. But one of the things is that I noticed that there's a lot of possible free agents that have come from the HBCU ranks at 2 positions. What 2 positions you think that probably is?
Wide receiver, linebacker.
Right. Wide receiver, cornerback.
I was going to say safety.
You'd have been wrong both. Cornerback. And you know, most of the time, the cornerbacks are guys who started off as wide receivers and hands wasn't good. So they
That's right.
utilize their athleticism and put them out there on defense. So it's just really kind of interesting how this draft is getting ready to unfold. And the key is, ladies and gentlemen, and we will try to do what we can, is to find out who gets signed to free agent deals. And a lot of it is on social media, and it'll be a lot of it coming out with people letting you know who got drafted and who actually signed a free agent deal, because a lot of these guys are going to get a chance, and it's their dream. So we just hope that they maintain positive attitudes in terms of being able to follow that dream and do the right thing, because they don't give you a whole lot of chances now. You get in camp, and there's a lot of people working to get paid. And your number one ability is your availability.
And when you get the chance,
like you do in college now, your ham a little tight, this hurt you. You don't get baby in the league, you'll be out the league.
You can't make the squad from the hot tub or from the cold tub. Something Warren Sapp used to say all the time.
All the time. He used to say that.
For today's Remembering the Legends, we shine the spotlight on a man who was the ultimate fighter and winner on and off the basketball court. Today we honor former NBA player and coach, Boston Celtics great Bill Russell. William Bill Felton Russell was born February 12, 1934 in West Monroe, Louisiana, but moved out to Oakland and attended McClymonds High School, where he won 2 California state basketball titles. Although he was 6'7", Russell received just one scholarship offer to the University of San Francisco. There, things changed. Russell set a record, averaging 20 points a game for the freshman team, and as other schools tried to lure him away, Russell stayed with the Dons, grew 3 inches, and was a major reason why the school won 55 straight games and back-to-back national championships in 1955 and in 1956. See, on the court, Russell was a winner. He became the first player to win an NCAA championship, NBA championship, and the Olympic gold medal, doing so in the span of 13 months. What set him apart was the way he revolutionized NBA defensive concepts with his exceptional shot blocking skills. Known as an offensive league at the time, Russell showed that a person can have a major impact on the defensive side of the basketball in the NBA. That is why Russell became the first player to win NBA MVP in 3 straight seasons. And he did it during a time when political correctness only usually meant you agree with the president. In the heart of the civil rights era, and despite death threats, Russell wasn't afraid to use his platform for what he believed in. In 1961, prior to an exhibition game in Lexington, Kentucky, Russell and 4 other black Boston players refused to play against the St. Louis Hawks after being refused service in a restaurant. After Medgar Evers was murdered in 1963, Russell went to Mississippi and held the first integrated basketball camp to try to unify the community. He did that despite being constantly followed by the KKK. 2 months later, Russell attended the 1963 March on Washington. He also spoke with and supported black students' one-day boycott of Boston public schools to protest segregation, and was also an influential member of the Cleveland Summit, where athletes came together to support Muhammad Ali's refusal to be drafted and fight in the Vietnam War. Russell also became the NBA's first black head coach when he took over the Celtics from Red Auerbach as a player coach. The Celtics won 2 more titles with Russell in charge before he finally retired as a player. He finished with 11 NBA titles, 12 NBA All-Star selections. He was a 5-time NBA MVP and 4-time rebounding champ. Boston retired his jersey in 1972, and he is inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame as a player and as a coach. Bill Russell died July 31st, 2022, but his impact remains today. The league dedicated the season to him, and every NBA jersey had a number 6 emblem in memory of Russell. He was given the Lifetime Achievement Award by the NBA, and the Bill Russell Most Valuable Player Award is given out every season. He was also given the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama in 2011, the highest honor given to a civilian in the United States. You see, it's easy to do the right thing when it's politically correct to do so. And while athletes today can mostly speak their minds and not fear repercussions, Colin Kaepernick notwithstanding, it was the Russells of the world who led boycotts and spoke up for the rights of blacks, despite dealing with a nation that often wasn't ready to accept it. That, as well as his on-the-court accomplishments, is why Bill Russell is a legend.
Good job, Rick.
You know, we've talked about this a lot of times off camera about how I grew up not liking the Boston Celtics. And they did so much, the team did so much for, unifying the NBA. Bringing in for integration, and I can't stand that team. And I think the media has something to do with it in the Bird Magic era, probably. But wow, every time I hear something on Bill Russell, it just amazes me. And what he did, what he went through, and still had the conviction to
like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Stand up is amazing.
Good piece, and good to have your fingerprints all over the show even more today. You got a big old thumbprint right in the middle of Mick, and bam, Rick. Oh, man, good job. You got something else for me over there looking around?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Memphis is beating the Lakers. That's about it right now.
Don't tell me nothing else, because I got it on tape delay. Got to go watch.
Nope. That's all. That's all I got, folks. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you as always. NFL draft 3 days. First round tomorrow. Rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. 4 through 7 is on Saturday. Free agents usually are announced on Sunday. Late Saturday night, Sunday usually, though, is where you can find out about the free agents. So, and we'll give you what we got. So, hope to see y'all next week.
Check us on INSiiGHTS Media. Check us on Roku under INSiiGHTS Magazine, also on INSiiGHTS YouTube.
Prior to the 1940s, like most of the United States itself, professional sports were segregated. And while many know of the Negro Leagues and how baseball eventually embraced the history of blacks in the Negro Leagues, how many of you have heard of the Black Fives? Today, we take some time to look into the history of blacks playing basketball prior to Chuck Cooper becoming the first black player to be drafted into the NBA in 1950.
From INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent the independent thoughts and representation.
Appreciate everybody. Appreciate you being with us for Mick and Rick show. And Rick, good job there, buddy. We'll see what happens. I hope that all those guys get picked up and get a chance to live their life and live their dream.
That's right. That's right. Good luck, folks. And on that,
Good luck. See you next week. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Coach.
You the man.
You the man, Coach. You the man. I'm just trying to be here, man. I'm trying to live in your shadows.